So people have been calling cold email dead for years now. But 2 weeks ago, a massive chunk of Gmail infrastructure went down. Thousands of agencies woke up to find their email systems completely burned. And suddenly, everyone is legitimately asking the same question. Did cold email really just die? And you combine this with AI filters that are marking emails as spam, and you've got a really big problem with cold email in 2026. So in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what's going on, why most cold email agencies are getting completely wrecked, and more importantly, what's actually working still if you want cold email to be a reliable channel for your business going into the next year. So let's dive in. So here's exactly what happened 2 weeks ago. This is the stuff no other agency is going to tell you. But as a cold email consultancy, we owe it to our clients to tell them exactly what went down. And so 2 weeks ago, a massive portion of Gmail infrastructure went down overnight. This wasn't just a few accounts. Entire systems that agencies have relied on for years completely died in a single day. This was a culmination of something that's been building for a few months. And here's what these agencies were actually doing behind the scenes. You see, for years, cold email agencies found ways to get Gmail accounts way cheaper than normal. We're talking about getting inboxes for basically free instead of paying $8 per account per month. And there were three main methods that everyone was using. We have EDU panels, nonprofit panels, and legacy panels. And these aren't sketchy workarounds. They were legitimate loopholes in how Google's pricing worked, right? And so the first to fall were EDU panels. These are education panels, right? Some agencies would set themselves up as schools or universities. And the thing is, Google doesn't charge educational institutions for Gmail accounts. So you could get completely free inboxes this way. And about 3 months ago, Google started systematically shutting these down, and they're completely gone, or I don't know of anybody who's still able to use them. I've always been aware of them, but I never got around to it, never wanted to dive into it, because no judgment to anyone who was using it, but it just felt like borderline fraud to me. And that was just a personal thing that kept me from going there, right? So the second wave of panels that just went down is they're a very similar concept to nonprofit panels, but they're non-profit panels. And you see, some agencies would start nonprofits in states or other countries or wherever it might be easier. And you still need a physical address, and you'd actually have to start a nonprofit organization. Here in the States, it would be, like a 501(c) or something like that. Or maybe that's just for churches, I don't know. But you would start a nonprofit, and a Gmail would give you free inboxes for that. And so really all you had was the expense of the federal filing for these things, right? And about a month and a half ago, these started getting killed off too. We never implemented these ones either. We were looking into can I get a guy who has a French citizenship in order to get us panels, and because in France you can start an unlimited amount of panels. So we were toying around with the idea, but then they all started to die, right? The third set of panels, legacy panels, the final nail in the coffin for this method. And these were the OG accounts from back when Gmail used to be free, at least from what I understand, the hearsay on the web, all of that kind of stuff, right? This is Google used to be free, and then they started charging. And then I guess there was a lawsuit or something like that. And so Gmail's like, hey, you can keep having these accounts for free, but going forward, we need to charge people for them. And so free users got grandfathered in. And these panels were being sold and traded on just, if you know networks or backend networks, or you had to know a guy. And they were still really pricey. I mean, you could buy a panel for $3 or $4 grand nowadays. And when amortized over the year, it was worth it. It was just a large upfront investment, right? And I heard some dude named Donald Tran or something in China made $60 million reselling these. And fuck yeah, man, good for him, right? But 2 weeks ago, this method got completely nuked in a single day. I had personally invested over $60,000 into acquiring these types of inboxes over the years. And for context, I personally lost a massive chunk of infrastructure worth just over about 31 grand overnight, just 2 weeks ago. And 49.23% of all of our Gmail inboxes went down overnight. And the thing is it's not just Gmail getting crazy right now. On almost the exact same day, Apollo, the main data source that most agencies use, changed their entire system. And you got to see, most agencies don't actually buy their data. We buy our data and we store our own in-house in-house leads and all of that kind of stuff. But a lot of agencies were just scraping Apollo themselves and basically kind of ripping from Apollo as much as they could. All these tools that agencies were using to scrape data from Apollo stopped working. So agencies lost their infrastructure and their data sources almost within the exact same day. And so here's what this means for cold email right now. And the first thing you got to understand, like, why were these agencies using these methods in the first place, right? The economics of the bottom of the barrel cold email agencies completely depend on cheap infrastructure. When you can get inboxes for basically free, you can charge clients $1,000 a month and still make good money. I.e. your typical agency in India using EDU panels with Indian IPs had almost zero overhead. And that's how they could undercut everybody on price. But here is, I think, the new reality is that you're not going to find legitimate Gmail inboxes for less than $5, maybe $6 per account per month anymore. Anything less than that, I'd be really questioning, like, are these US IPs? Are they legitimate? Are they trying to resell them on the black market? And these are just going to suddenly get torched, just like the EDUs and the legacies and the nonprofits. And most agencies that built their entire business around these cheap infrastructures, it's completely catastrophic for them. The margins they were working with literally don't exist anymore. And a lot of these agencies are either going to have to massively raise prices or shut down completely. Then there's an AI filter problem making everything worse. Email providers are now using AI to automatically categorize incoming emails. The AI can read your email and instantly know if it's spam, a newsletter, or a sales pitch. And even if you get past all the technical deliverability stuff that you have to, the AI can still filter you out before anyone sees your email. And here's a real example. We were working with Fixer AI, one of the fastest growing SaaS and AI companies in the world. I mean, we generated over $4.3 million in annual pipeline revenue for them. And if we would have been able to hit their total addressable market, which we were working towards, our machine was going to make them $25 million a year just with cold email. But one of Fixer's own features uses AI to automatically filter out cold emails before users even see them. And so when we saw that, we had to completely rethink our approach, testing different copy angles at scale to figure out what patterns their AI was catching. And the thing is, I'm hesitant to even say anything, as this is a major competitive advantage that we have right now over everyone else in the marketplace. But I can say the solution is that your emails need to not read like sales emails anymore. You need significantly more copywriting that feels conversational and personal, right? And you combine this with data getting, much more expensive, and inboxes getting much more expensive, cold email is going to get a lot harder. Most agencies were just buying data from vendors that would just scrape Apollo and just marking it up. And now that the Apollo scrapers don't work the same way, data costs are going way up. I mean, some of my friends, their costs have gone up literally 100x. Insane. And, we're talking about going from a 25th of a penny to potentially 5 whole pennies per email. And so if you don't have your own data sources built up, you're going to feel this really hard. Before I explain what the future of cold email looks like, if you want us to save you from all these headaches and just make sure everything is working well so you can still print leads from cold email, and just book a free demo with us below in the first link in the description. Now, back to the video. So here is what the future of cold email looks like. The first thing is that I view all of these things as really good news for me. Every time the industry gets harder, the worst players quit. And the people who were just in it for the quick money, who weren't really building systems, who weren't thinking long-term, trying to build like a long-term legitimate company, they're all gone. They're all making really cool fad AI companies. And if you were cutting corners, you're screwed. But if you're willing to do things the right way, your competition just dropped dramatically. So here's what the right way actually means now. You need legitimate infrastructure. You can't do loopholes. You can't do workarounds. That means overhead. That means legitimate licenses, the whole nine. And that also applies to the data sources as well. You need data sources that you can actually control. We're talking legitimate contracts with Apollo or LeadMagic or Wizza, and really making sure that you have a legitimate pipeline. You need to understand deliverability at a very deep level and understand almost 100 different mechanisms that you need to be thinking about in real time as you're sending these emails. You need the data and the analytics in place, right? And you need stellar copywriting that can get past an AI reading your email. And so our infrastructure approach right now is diversification is everything. You can't rely on a single source or a single type of inbox. So right now we've taken a step back from SMTPs and we're doing 50% Gmail and 50% Outlook, all from legitimate sources. We used to run SMTPs as part of the mix, but they stopped working for us about a month or so ago. And so we just cut them until something really blows us away in the market again. And these are real monthly expenditure accounts. These are not just panels where you're able to pay for it up front. And so what we like to do is I like to source everything from Scaled Mail. They have become our exclusive partner recently, and that's not because they like bought us out or anything like that. It's like we use them because we like them the best. They have diversity built in. Their Gmail accounts that you can get from them are from legitimate licenses from Google. These aren't workarounds. These aren't sketchy IPs. They're as legitimate as you can possibly imagine. And so they won't just disappear overnight, and you won't be questioning deliverability when you're working with them, right? In fact, we like Scaled Mail so much, we just started an exclusive partnership with them. We don't use any other reseller now besides our own proprietary in-house infrastructure that we develop. And if you need inboxes and want to manage all of this stuff yourself, hit them up. They are stellar. We wouldn't depend our business on them if I didn't think it was the best decision possible for us. And they're the best in every way. I really mean it. And I'm not paid to say this. But the next evolution of that is if you want us to manage all this infrastructure for you. So if you want us to manage rotating domains, diversifying the infrastructure, having backup sets, monitoring deliverability, having sets that rotate in the second deliverability hits, check us out at coldemailinfrastructure.com, where we can fully manage your entire cold email infrastructure, guaranteed. Now, how do we manage our infrastructure? We like to use fingerprintless browsers with residential IPs for every inbox. Personally, I like to use tools like Incogniton, but things like GoLogin are just as great. And what this means is that every time we log into that inbox, it comes from the same location, the same IP address, the same computer, at least it looks like that, to Google and Microsoft. It looks completely legitimate. And so we monitor the warm-up scores, the reply rates, the bounce rates, and the deliverability constantly. We check blacklists for every domain that we use. We keep full backup sets of infrastructure ready to rotate it if something goes wrong. And this requires of literally hundreds of VAs available at a moment's notice. I mean, there have been times where I hit my VA firm, no joke, with over 1,000 hours of labor in a single day, okay? This can't be automated. Google and Microsoft know you are fake if you try to automate it. It has to be manual. And this, I think, is the level of sophistication that you need now. Here's how I think you can tackle the data problem is you need to build your own private lead database over time. You need to figure out some way to have databasing as a backend component of it. It's difficult and complicated. And in fact, we might even be releasing something to the public soon to help them out with this. We'll see. If we're really thinking about it, there might be a link in the description where you might be able to join a waitlist, but we'll see. And you got to see, we've accumulated proprietary data over years of running campaigns. And what we're thinking about releasing to the public isn't a lead magic competitor. What we're thinking about releasing is like, we have our own private database. Can I equip other people to have their own private in-house database so they can actually own their data? That's what we're thinking about. When we're building these lists, we've accumulated proprietary data over years of running campaigns, special SaaS lists, special AI lists, special lists for like growth people who are the most responsive, companies who have raised funding. We have super dialed in lists for specific clients and industries that we work with, and we enrich this data across multiple data vendors with at least 13 different sources to see, do we have the best thing? We have direct relationship with tools like LeadMagic and Wizza, and those two are by far my favorite. And this is what separates agencies that survive from agencies that die. This makes cold email more powerful, not less, when you do it right. And cold email is still one of the hardest ROI channels that exist. We've generated millions of ARR in companies in just a few months. But the key is that you have to be willing to invest and do it properly. You have to be willing to deal with the times when it gets messy and difficult. And the barrier to entry is higher now, which means that there's less competition for those who are serious. So it's great news. Now, whether you should handle cold email yourself or outsource it depends entirely on your scale. If you're sending less than 1,000 emails a day, or you just want to manage it yourself, you just need the licenses, hit up Scaled Mail. They are absolutely great. But if you're sending more than 1,000 emails a day, or you would want to, and that's when the right infrastructure management can become crucial, right? Like, I don't think you're going to be willing to log into accounts and manage them and all of this kind of stuff. And so you need someone handling the everyday end-to-end, the rotating inboxes, the monitoring deliverability, maintaining backups, the whole system that we do for our clients with coldemailinfrastructure.com. But if you want the copy, strategy, and the entire cold email channel managed for you end-to-end to do cold email the right way and use it to print cash for your business at scale, then click the first link in the description to book an intro call with us. We'll map out your total addressable market, set up legitimate infrastructure that won't disappear overnight, and help you reach 100% of your total addressable market every 30 to 60 days. So click the link below and book your call. And if you want to see a full breakdown of how I'm sending over 500,000 emails per day, then watch this next video.